Hey guys, how's it going? Allie Marie here with My Catholic Perspective. As I've posted on social media and the community tab here, we had our baby 1 week ago today. Her name is Juliet Veronica, so another little girl. Evelyn, our 19-month-old, is absolutely in love with her, loves snuggling her and just being so sweet, patting her head and patting her back and all these cute little things. So I'm feeling very blessed. Everything went smoothly, and recovery is going well, getting plenty of sleep, which is really nice. And this video today is typically one that I would make for Sunday for patrons or members. If you actually, so on my Patreon, you can become a member, but they have YouTube memberships now too. So if anybody decides to sign up for a YouTube membership, you will also get access to the Sunday current events videos. Cuties would typically be discussed privately and not on a public platform. However, due to the fact that I did have another girl, and Cuties does revolve around prepubescent and adolescent sexuality of females, I did want to chat about it for a minute. I've done a few videos in the past about like why I don't watch R-rated movies and how I am a huge fan of IMDb's Parents Guide. There were a few articles that I've read like on both sides of the spectrum about Cuties, some defending it, some saying how it's just terrible. And ultimately, when I look at the Parents Guide, I would look at it for any video that I would consider watching that's PG-13 or worse. And so Cuties is rated TVMA, which means it's not suitable for anyone under the age of 17, which is strange because the primary focal point of the video is 11-year-olds, and they're legitimately 11-year-olds in the video. So some of the left articles were saying, well, you need to at least watch the video. You need to watch it. Don't draw your conclusions. Can't judge a book by its cover, blah, blah, blah. And it's a similar thing that I've said about Deadpool and other R-rated movies, where it's like, I don't need to taste poop to know that I don't like the flavor. That's how I feel about Cuties. I was considering watching it and was like, well, maybe I'll give it a chance, try to see, it claims to be against the sexualization of young adults or minors, not young adults, but minors on social media, and, maybe I should just give it a chance. So, of course, I open the Parents Guide and look at it, and there are 13 things under sex and nudity, and there's a lot of it where it's showing young girls watching pornography. They're grinding and twerking. There are certain scenes where it says the entire breast of a minor is visible. And one of the girls dancing exposes her bare breast. All of the stuff of the cameras zooming in on butts and crotches and all these twerking and seductive poses and dancing, and it's just like, this is not anything that I need to spend my time on. I can sit here and I can read what it's about and what types of scenes are in it. And again, don't need to taste poop to know I don't like the flavor. I can just smell it, So this is my smell of this show, and it's not considered child pornography because they are not engaging in a sexual action with another male or with each other. They're not technically doing anything. So it seems as though it's a bit extreme. I just don't understand. And I don't mean it, I don't know, maybe it's judgy. This is why these current events type videos go on Sundays to patrons, to people who want a dialogue. Because, I don't mean to sound judgy, but I don't know what parent could allow their child to be in a video like this. How can you say to your 11-year-old, do this video and we're going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's more about the dollar sign, it seems, than protecting your child and maintaining their innocence. I have always had a problem with R-rated movies that have children in them, where the children are swearing or they're listening to the older actors swearing, and I mean, it's countless role models. That was one that I watched in college, and I just remember being a little put off by that, because I was like, these are kids and they're like dropping F-bombs left and right, like it's no big deal. Or certain videos, I can't even think of the names right now, where like a 4-year-old is saying the F word, and it's just like, why? There is so much to be said about childlike innocence. I talked about it in my last video, the childlike innocence and maintaining that, and how all of those aspects go into our salvation. And even as adults, we're called to protect that innocence and maintain that and shelter ourselves ultimately, so that we aren't exposed to things that would compromise our ability to withstand temptation. And that's not to say that, a lot of people would struggle with pedophilia or anything else, but this is like very obviously sexual exploitation of minors. They are at an age of reason, being that they're over the age of 8, and in the Catholic faith, that is what is taught as the age of reason. However, they are being influenced. I mean, one of the interviews for the producer director of Cuties, she was talking about how she met with a bunch of minors for a year and a half before filming this video, and talked with them about how social media has impacted them. And basically, children are going to imitate the things that they see. So on social media, they see a successful Instagram account, and it's this girl who's scantily clad, dressed, and she has all these followers, hundreds of thousands of followers. They want that type of attention, so they're willing to imitate what that person is doing in order to get that attention. And in the Catholic faith, we aren't looking externally for validation. Like, our validation is in the knowledge that we are children of God. Our validation comes within, that there is a grace. There is that grace that is granted if it is sought. Knock and the door will be open, seek and you will find. That security can be found in our relationship with Christ, in our relationship with God. And so by avoiding these types of productions, by, sheltering, if you will, our children, by being the witness that we are, by exemplifying that we have our own security. I mean, when I had my maternity photos done the other week, when I was 32 weeks pregnant, I had maternity photos done. It was by a professional photographer that's a friend of mine who gifted them to me. And I was very uncomfortable with the idea of having any bare belly photos taken. Now, I have a very, my stomach looks fine when I'm pregnant. I don't know. I have zero insecurities about how I look. Even now, postpartum, it's just like I had a baby and this is how the female body is. So, but I didn't like it because it didn't feel modest to me. However, they were building their portfolio and this and that. So one thing led to another, I agreed. And after he sent me the proofs, it was like, you know what? I'm really just not comfortable with these. I don't want them posted publicly. If you want to use them privately to show to a girl who's pregnant, that's fine. But for me, I just really wanted to keep that, it's modesty. However, they were really cute pictures. They show a little baby bump and this and that, and they look great and silhouette style. And, I could probably post it on my Instagram and have photos like that and get a lot of followers, just like all the other places do that are really consistent and posting all kinds of really professional, nice pictures. But I strive for my security to not come from the amount of followers that I have. I strive for my security to come from within and from God, and from just knowing that my body is made to be the way that it is, and it doesn't need to be a certain way, and I don't need external validation to know that I'm being the best person that I can be, that I am a kind and caring person. I don't look for that validation externally anymore. However, when I was in college, when I was in high school and had, your classic daddy issues, that is what ends up drawing into that. And I mean, there's a book that I bought for Alec, my husband, called Show Us the Father. And it was recommended by, oh gosh, Jason Everett, right? Yeah, Jason Everett. It was recommended by him as like the best fatherhood book. And so Alec was looking for it on the shelf the other day, and he said to me this morning, he was like, where's that book that you bought me? You know, I couldn't find it. I said, oh, it should be on the shelf, you know, and I walked over and I said, I think it's called Show Us the Father. And he said, oh, I think I saw that one. I thought it was like a God book. I was just like, well, it is. It's about like, you know, the God the Father being displayed through through your fatherhood and everything else. So, but it's just interesting because that is what like fathers are called to be. They're called to be a reflection of our Heavenly Father and to give their children, their daughters and sons, that security and that knowledge that they are loved and cared for and worth every aspect of modesty, and that they don't have to give away the one thing that is always going to be theirs, which is their bodies. I did a video on that too recently, you know, how like I don't like other people changing our daughter's diapers. Like, I just feel like there is a sense of modesty and like protection that I have for our children that's like, why does anyone else need to see them naked? Like, we'll just keep them clothed, and you know, and maybe it's a step too far, I don't know, but I do feel that they are worthy and worth inherent dignity and respect, and you know, they're not a doll to be passed around a room. There are just, you know, a few different opinions on how babies are handled, and from my perspective, from like a Catholic perspective, we just need to bear in mind that like all of us are worth that. All of us are worth protecting our modesty, and it looks different in a lot of like different ways, I guess, in different scenarios. But in this particular case with Cuties, just as a little summation, basically we should be avoiding it. It's not a show to watch. I mean, one of the people that wrote a review on it was like, I understand what the director might have been going for, but what did they say? After reading reviews, I watched the movie myself. I get what the director wanted to do, but the movie hardly reflected that. It's pretty hard to see the message of objectifying children as bad when the movie itself is full of that needless objectification itself. I don't recommend this to anyone, honestly. If you're looking for a serious topic that's brought up and handled respectfully, look somewhere else, because this is honestly just predator bait. So that's like the top review on IMDb. Somebody else even made the comment, you know, that there's obviously a lot of footage that didn't make it into the video. And so while this camera crew is videoing these young girls, there's all this content that's being recorded that is not public, but is obviously still on record somewhere. And yeah, so all of it is very disheartening and just, for me, sad, especially having two girls that are going to be growing up in this society. And it makes me think of, you know, when Christ was carrying the cross and he told the women of Jerusalem, he's like, don't weep for me, weep for your children. You know, for if they treat the wood like this when it's green, what will they do when it's dry? All of that is just so true. And like, the wood's dry now, and we will weep for our children, because there will be a point where we won't be able to protect them anymore, and like, it's just teach them the best that we can. So not sure why this video is here, but it is. So anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Alec and I will be doing our consecration to the Holy Family tomorrow and Saturday and Sunday. We will pray the prayer, and then I'll do a live stream rosary with Juliet. He'll take Evelyn. We haven't picked the time for sure yet. I'm thinking maybe 10:30, maybe. So we'll kind of see how that goes. But I look forward to chatting with you guys in the comments. Thanks for your patience with this as I kind of transition to being a mom of two, but I'm happy to be here today and hope you have a wonderful Thursday. I pray that God grants you the resources that you need to draw closer to Him and in turn closer to those around you. We'll talk to you soon.